Dudukwe, Hadzabe Bushman still sad after his woman left, but he needs food and must cook again. Dudukwe, a Hadzabe man, is going through some tough emotions after his woman left. The Hadzabe, one of the last true hunter-gatherer tribes in Africa, lead simple, yet deeply emotional lives in their wild environment. Even though heartbreak can feel heavy, life doesn't stop, food must be hunted and meals must be cooked. And so, despite the sadness in his heart, Dudukwe has to get back to the essential task at hand: hunting, cooking, and surviving. Heartbreak in the wild. For Dudukwe, the emotional weight of his woman leaving is real. In the close-knit communities of the Hadzabe, relationships are vital, and when a partner leaves, it's not just an emotional hit, it affects the balance of daily life. The hunting might not feel as meaningful, and the loneliness creeps in. But as any Hadzabe man knows, survival doesn't wait for anyone. The need for food. While he may be feeling sad, Dudukwe can't ignore the basic necessity of survival. Hunting is part of his life, and without it, food doesn't just appear. He heads out to track down game, perhaps aiming for monkeys, small antelope, or even a baboon, and with his poison-tipped arrows, he manages to catch something. But that's only half the battle. Now comes the part where Dudukwe has to cook. The struggles of cooking in the wild. Cooking for the Hadzabe is simple yet vital for survival. But when you're heartbroken and distracted, the result might not be as perfect as usual. Dudukwe's cooking might be a bit off this time. Perhaps the meat is overcooked or the fire isn't just right. The wild herbs and bush spices might not add the familiar flavor. After all, cooking is about survival, but it's also about feeling grounded, and with his mind in turmoil, things aren't going smoothly. Still, there's humor in the struggle. Maybe he burns the edges of the meat or gets distracted by thoughts of his lost relationship, but that's life. As he sits down to eat his imperfect meal, Dudukwe likely chuckles to himself. It's not perfect, but it'll do. The silver lining, resilience through the rough times. What's truly remarkable about the Hadzabe people, and about Dudukwe, is their ability to keep moving forward, no matter how hard things get. While the sadness of his woman leaving still lingers, Dudukwe is strong enough to continue the most important task, feeding himself and surviving. Maybe he won't cook the perfect meal, but in the wild, imperfect food is better than no food at all. And in the end, it's the humor, the resilience, and the determination that make life in the bush still worth living. Dudukwe may not be smiling as he eats his meal, but there's still a deep sense of pride in knowing that he survived, and even in his heartache, he can still provide for himself.
Bena mama kwa pola.
Kwa pola.
Eu posso fazer na tudo. Kaya kuwa taika sisi sama sama kana kuja ila hata bachata
wakati ka unibeshi
inakuja nusigweko
etem gweko chia siye
kwa no shida okay kada kwa dika itini kwa titatena bono no ina no zana
kuti gweko tausa ata ika hey time ati ko kwa mana
na mana ale ene kwa tabe ena ono tunya ozo ba ena ndio
Ndio ba mi yakti.
Cheye ke kwete ba.
Sha ku ya ama iya ichesha. Ichesha na zane ona.
Kukena sobali.
Na sina pi
Kwa ta utsate ilikuwa atlati.
kena otana na obi ka wa ngongo
ama kuwa. Bai mtu etebi
Ba bena kishima bena tabu.
tuma
La mi
Chumugwa.
oshenga.
wakati obi na ilikuwa kwa ota baba tatiko kwa ota kata man mako yani
Matri konta gwe. Alafu kwa icha haya bila uzivipi pitri. Situmika pitri.
kaye pikri
Bethu chaki pishi nokiti akaya
Abo
pitri.
lokwa ya kai.
Che ene ditsi azai.
Yeah.
Akanya nakaya ni tumubai. Na akala so.
ya masala
Nyo ana.
Kwa tete aya zama ba mana ubabi ya mana ubi makwini na otai ka bi tata achabe ka khata no batsi na te ko ngoko foko sami ya pi makwini
ozo shagwa
ai
munye gwa kwa mi ana wini au mako ela ya
Kutueta.
uko obi kutueta obi za ukuya nata kwa kwenda
Chokwae kwa
weko lama embo bakaba ko ta ko tiko ta kyo ba ko tasa a
Ishinai.
ngapana na ko kwatla ya
kumi gashta vile gashta.
ngona denje be
No, ya pi.
Akoma okay boko ako ubi
na ko isabo ko kwa ke la ta ben ikaha na ko na ko
pia ta ko gwa ko is ya ko ne iya na no si
Poor Dudukwe, heartbroken, out in the wild, and now trying his hand at cooking again. But, let's face it, he's definitely not the master chef he once was. Maybe his woman left, but the hunt and the meal still need to happen. And as much as Dudukwe tries to get that perfect roast, this time, things aren't quite going according to plan. The struggle is real, the hunt was a success, but cooking, not so much. Dudukwe may have tracked down his prey, shot his arrows with precision, and even made a fire like a pro, but when it comes to the actual cooking, let's just say he's not having the smoothest of days. Perhaps the meat is a little overcooked, or maybe undercooked in some places, and maybe the seasoning, which usually comes from wild herbs, is a bit off. After all, he's probably not in the best of spirits to focus on gourmet cooking when emotions are running high. His skills, usually sharp as his arrows, are a little off, probably due to his distraction from everything that happened. But hey, survival is the ultimate goal, right? A funny twist, the unpredictability of wild cooking. The Hadzabe are known for their practicality and resourcefulness, but they aren't always concerned with perfect meals. Their food is about survival and sustenance, not Michelin stars. Even if the meat is a little too crispy on one side, it's still food, and it's still nourishing. Maybe the burnt edges give Dudukwe a few laughs, because after all, when life hands you charred baboon or overcooked monkey, you have to laugh at yourself. And even if it's not perfect, it's still better than starving. A lesson in resilience and laughter. Even though Dudukwe might not have cooked like he did last time, when everything was perfect, and his woman was there to help, he still learned a little lesson. Survival and humor go hand in hand. No matter what life throws at him, he'll always find a way to keep going, even if his cooking is a little off. Maybe next time, he'll get the meat just right. But for now, it's just him, the fire, and some hilariously imperfect cooking. So here's to Dudukwe, the not-so-perfect chef but still the ultimate survivor. The Hadzabe Bushmen, one of the last true hunter-gatherer tribes in Africa, have faced numerous challenges as they strive to maintain their ancient way of life in the face of modernity, encroaching development, and changing land dynamics. The tribe, which has lived for thousands of years in the deserts and forests of northern Tanzania, is now experiencing a mix of emotions, including sadness and frustration as they witness the erosion of their traditional lifestyle. The struggles of the Hadzabe. For the Hadzabe, life has always been about survival, independence, and living in harmony with nature. However, they are now facing multiple pressures. Land displacement. As the world modernizes, much of the land that the Hadzabe traditionally relied on for hunting and gathering is being taken over by government policies, farming, and tourism developments. This loss of land has severely impacted their ability to practice their traditional way of life. Loss of traditional practices. The younger generation of Hadzabe are becoming increasingly influenced by outside influences, such as modern education, religion, and the changing economy. Many are no longer learning the ancient skills of hunting, tracking, and gathering from their elders, and instead are turning to more modern forms of livelihood. This is causing sadness within the tribe, as they fear the loss of their cultural identity. External pressures. The Hadzabe have faced pressure from government regulations, which restrict their access to hunting grounds. Wildlife protection laws and other policies often prevent them from hunting freely, and in many cases, the tribe's traditional hunting grounds are now part of protected areas, leading to increased conflict with the government and conservationists. Economic hardships. As modernization takes hold, many Hadzabe are struggling to adapt to a world that increasingly values cash economies. Their lifestyle, built on subsistence hunting and gathering, is being sidelined in favor of money-driven systems, leaving many without adequate resources to thrive. The sadness of change. The emotional toll of these changes is undeniable. The Hadzabe, who have lived for centuries in relative isolation and autonomy, are now experiencing the sadness of cultural loss and identity erosion. The younger generation, torn between tradition and the pressures of modernity, faces a difficult future. Elders, the keepers of the tribe's knowledge, are concerned that the wisdom and skills that have sustained the tribe for millennia may be lost in just a few generations. A call for understanding and preservation. While the challenges are immense, there is still hope. The Hadzabe tribe continues to fight for their rights, cultural preservation, and the return of their ancestral lands. The global community must recognize and respect their way of life and support efforts to ensure that the Hadzabe can continue living according to their traditions, while still adapting to the demands of
Ube chike biti na he Dudukwe mebe pikin kai chapi Lembe kwa be isin kusepa Oku wa tretete ubi Ami upe chike biti na Oku wa tretete omae Kuwa tretete omae Na omate kwa mo ake ono he Satita na fati bi iye Mame katiba Munaye mebe Samame katiba Munaye mebe Tumiga me sama Samame Sumangeda Tumiga me sama Samame sumangeda Akwikosa ayako Chiakwa Kuang kata ala kamanda.
Iya ko naman ako.
Ako.
Iya ko.
Iya ko kata niya ono.
Mana ako de.
Enggak tamakun. Takut enggak sih suka.
Hallelujah. Yeah.